Hi folks, this is Valheim. It is a Viking-themed survival game where you can, among other things, build structures. And let's talk about structures for a second before I show you tree houses. The structures in this game take stability from the ground. So for instance, you can see that's blue, which means it is right next to the ground and is super stable. Then you get green, a lighter green, a lighter green, orange, red, and if I try to build something on the end of this, it falls down. Now the interesting thing is, the game treats trees as ground, which I learned from Let's Game It Out, who did ridiculous things with this. I also did ridiculous things with this, but a little bit differently than they did. So this is a perfectly normal house that you might actually build if you're playing Valheim correctly. This is a tree house that you might build if you are not playing Valheim correctly. This is an oak, which is the same kind of tree that Let's Game It Out used. Take a quick look. You can see that's blue because that is ground as far as the game is concerned. And you can keep going up. That's a little hard to see. I guess. It can be pretty hard to build in this game. And so I actually built that ladder so that I could build farther out. Doesn't matter. And this is as far up as I could get. The oak, you can see that that's red. It's also a little bit frosty. But it turns out that the oak is not the tallest tree around. So let's go next door because I built up to there. Take a little bridge across. This is a beech, which is a much smaller tree as far as diameter goes. So you'll see that I had to use a little bit of bracing, not because it actually functions as bracing, but because it then touches the tree and the game treats it as ground. There's a little bit of weirdness for where the tree's hitbox is. Wanders a little bit as it goes up. But when the tree sways in the wind, that doesn't actually change where the game thinks the tree is. That's just a graphical difference. I had to build a second workbench up here because it was so high that I was out of range of the one on the ground. And this is as high as I could get. You can see that that's green down here. That's blue. So that is connected to the tree, but that's green, so that's one step away from the tree, and that is as high as I could get it. This isn't a practical treehouse. You can't actually build a bed up here because there's no way to get fire up here, not when you're building with wood at least. If I had stone technology, then presumably I would be able to build a fire up here. But this is just a test account to mess around with buildings. I did actually build a couple of practical tree houses because while it's certainly amusing to go all the way up the tree, as you can see, it takes a little bit of time. Well, almost fell off. And there is, of course, the danger of dying as you fall off the tree. If you're going to do this, I highly recommend the guardrails. Over here, we have an actual practical tree house. Some foliage inside, the game doesn't care. There actually used to be a tree right here in the middle of the floor, which I cut down after building this house and it knocked the house down, which surprised me. You can see the stump. This tree used to go right up through there. It will let you build floors and roofs straight through the trunks. And this is all perfectly stable. You can see there's blue all through there, green all through there, green all through there. The walls and the roof there go through the tree. The game doesn't care. Perfectly solid and square house. Now there is one other thing you can do, which is just build a roof. This roof is connected to those two trees, and that is it. There's a fire under here, there's a workbench under here, and there's a bed under here. And surprisingly, the game will let you sleep on that bed. It thinks that is secure enough. As you can see, that's blue. So that is your green and then back to blue. And as you get out towards the side, it's not actually very stable. But you can get quite a bit of coverage just from two trees, and this is sufficient as far as the game is concerned because trees are ground.